The old house had stood empty for years, its paint peeling like scabs, its windows dark and lifeless. When the Miller family moved in, they were told by the neighbors that the place had a history. Strange things, whispers in the walls, doors, that slammed on their own, but they laughed it off. Young parents with a child, eager for a fresh start. The first night, Emma Miller woke to a scratching sound, faint at first. Like tiny nails dragging along the plaster, she froze, listening. As it grew louder, circling the bedroom, her husband, Tom, still snoring beside her, oblivious. She nudged him awake, whispering about the noise, but when he listened, it stopped, leaving only silence. "Must be rats," Tom said, pulling the covers over his head, and she tried to convince herself the same. But over the next few nights, the scratching returned, always near their daughter Lily's room, and always at the same hour, 3:17 a.m., Emma began leaving the hall light on, and yet she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, unseen eyes, tracking her every move. One evening, while unpacking, Tom found tiny scratches inside the walls, shallow lines that didn't appear to have a logical explanation. When he pressed on the plaster, a hollow sound echoed back, a subtle thump. Like someone breathing just beyond the surface, Lily began talking to someone she called Mr. Walls, describing a pale man with hollow eyes who whispered secrets. To her at night, Emma laughed nervously, thinking it was an imaginary friend, but her stomach churned every time Lily described what Mr. Walls wanted. A hunger for things that didn't belong to him. By the end of the week, the family was exhausted, the house seeming to pulse with life, every creak and groan magnified into threats. Tom began seeing shadows move behind walls, catching glimpses of something tall and thin, a silhouette that melted away when confronted one night. Emma awoke to the sound of breathing in her ear, slow and wet, her hair brushed back by unseen fingers. Her scream woke Tom, but there was nothing there, just the walls, closing in with a subtle, sinister patience, and in the darkness, Lily whispered, "He's hungry." Tom decided to investigate the walls. Hammer and flashlight in hand, trying to rationalize the events, he tore open a section near the living room, revealing narrow tunnels just big enough for a person to squeeze through. The air was stale, thick with dust and something else, a faint metallic stench that made him gag. In the corner of one tunnel, he saw footprints, small and oddly elongated. Leading deeper into the shadows, his flashlight flickered as he peered in, and he heard the faintest of whispers calling his name, taunting him. Emma insisted he stop, but curiosity gnawed at Tom. An irresistible pull toward the unknown. He crawled into the tunnel, feeling the walls close around him, the air growing colder with every inch. Then he saw it. A figure hunched in the darkness, its skin pale as ash, eyes hollow pits reflecting the faint light. It moved with unnatural speed, darting into another tunnel, leaving Tom shaking, breathless. He stumbled back into the living room, heart hammering, and tried to warn Emma, but she wasn't listening. The child's drawings littered the floor, sketches of tunnels and hollow-eyed men, some with shadows extending into their homes. Lily spoke of him more freely now, describing how he lived in the walls, watching, listening, waiting. "He wants us," she said quietly, looking at the ceiling. "He's lonely, but he's angry." The nights grew worse, the walls vibrating as if alive, carrying whispers and scratching that now came from every direction. Objects disappeared only to reappear in strange configurations. Chairs stacked into grotesque shapes, doors sealed from the inside. Tom tried to leave, but the house resisted. Every exit blocked by shadows or sudden noises. The family realized the horror wasn't just imagination, it was alive, thinking, moving. Lily began crying at night, saying, "He touched me. He wants me." Emma held her close, but deep down, she knew the child's words were not fantasy, and one night, Tom woke to find the walls around his bed breathing, expanding and contracting like lungs. He saw the shadow of the figure crawling just beneath the surface, closer than ever, and the house seemed to whisper as if in anticipation. Emma suggested leaving, but Tom feared the figure would follow them, that it thrived on attempts to escape. They barricaded the doors, but it didn't matter. The walls were everywhere, stretching infinitely beyond reason. Lily spoke directly. "To him now, you can't hide. He's inside you," and Emma felt a chill. Realizing her daughter wasn't lying, the figure began emerging in small ways, a hand slipping from the walls, a face pressed against plaster, watching silently one night. It fully revealed itself in the living room, tall, gaunt, eyes dark pools, mouth twisting into an impossible grin. It whispered promises of power and fear, and yet Tom could feel its rage simmering beneath. The family tried to fight, smashing the walls with hammers and crowbars, but the figure dissolved, flowing through the cracks, laughing in human voices. Their voices, Emma screamed, realizing every sound in the house was now its own echo. Distorted and threatening, Lily crawled toward the figure, calling it Daddy, and Emma lunged, pulling her back, but the child fought, hypnotized by the whispers. The house trembled, walls cracking, the air filled with wet, scratching sounds. Tom tried to reason with it, pleading, bargaining, but the figure only stared, unblinking and eternal. It wanted more than fear. It wanted obedience, intimacy, a melding of their lives with its own. The family huddled together, realizing the truth. Leaving was impossible. The figure had made the house its body, and they were trapped within. It whispered to Emma, promising to spare her if she gave herself. If she joined its life in the walls, her heart raced, knowing that refusal meant something worse, and in the shadows, Lily smiled, speaking words that chilled Emma to the bone. "He's already inside us." The final night arrived with unnatural silence, the house holding its breath. Waiting for the inevitable, the figure emerged fully, stretching its limbs impossibly, filling the rooms with its presence. Tom tried one last attempt to escape, bursting through the front door, but found the world outside twisted, unreal, as if the house had expanded infinitely around them. Emma realized their lives were now bound to it, their bodies merely puppets. Of its will, the walls seemed to pulse, alive with laughter and whispers. The air thick with the scent of decay. Lily ran toward the figure willingly, arms outstretched, merging with it as if she had always belonged. Emma screamed, trying to pull her back, but Tom held her eyes, hollow with terror. Realizing resistance was futile, the figure's whispers entered their minds, promises of eternity, of endless watching, and of sleep that would never return. It touched them lightly, yet the sensation was fire and ice all at once, searing through their flesh and thoughts. They felt themselves dissolving into the walls, skin becoming plaster, blood merging with dust. The last thing Emma saw was the face of her daughter, smiling with the hollow eyes of the figure, then the House was silent again, the walls empty, yet somehow alive. Breathing slowly, waiting, and the new occupants would hear the faintest scratching at night. Soft and patient, he lived in the walls while they slept, and he would always be hungry.